Right, guys, we're just waiting a couple minutes to get some more people in here. Any questions? Just use the hashtag AMA questions chat. I have quite a bit to go over today. Hashtag AMA questions. Just explaining to people in general chat how to hop in the voice channel. Okay. I guess let's address the elephant in the room regarding YouTube video suggesting dollars is a rug/scam, as well as being part of another project named Cops and Cartels. This is why there is an emergency AMA. Yeah, so first thing first. Yes, we are a part of Cops and Cartels. We don't spend a whole lot of time in the Discord, but it is a project that we oversee. Now, in terms of basement dwellers being a rug pull, I've addressed this a few times and I'll address this again. It is in no way a rug pull. I would not have invested over $100,000 in the project if I was planning to rug it. Nor would I have talked with my real voice, continued to do AMAs, posted a picture of myself, and put myself out there in front of everyone if I was going to rug pull the community. It just doesn't make sense. If someone from the team can produce a profit and loss sheet with revenue, expenses, gross profit, etc., that should alleviate concerns a bit. Understand people are questioning the financial structure here and where money is being invested. So I think it's pertinent that this is addressed and would be relatively easy to do so. At least the people need to understand how much is left over of mint revenue. So yeah, I mean, there was no discussion or agreement upon basement dwellers having a set amount of community funds allocated to it. Now, I know it's been brought up before. A few people have been under that belief, but we've never said, hey, we're going to put $1 million into the development of basement dwellers. You know, when we started this project, we quit our jobs, we invested everything we had into our bank account, and we took 100% of the risk. So when you're in that kind of situation, of course, there's some to gain and some to lose. Project could have flopped, could have lost my life savings, been out of a job, would have been a very stupid decision. But that's not the situation at hand. And I don't want to make any false promises and have people believe we're investing $1 million into the project. I don't think any projects have invested all the funds they've received back into the project. Of course, the owners of the project are going to make money from the project. And second of all, there were many people who were paid a lot of money to work on this project. You know, it's not like people say like, oh, the project minted X amount of money. This is the money that can go back to the project. It's not the case. People have been paid. Of course, you know, I'm going to be compensated for it. Schizo's going to be compensated for it. The risk of quitting the job and putting in countless hours, all of that, you know, we have to value as well. So if you look on the roadmap, we've never stated anything other than the royalties are going to be reinvested into sweeping the floor. And then following up on the roadmap. And those things are still going to happen and they're going to continue to happen. Now, in terms of running a second project, like we've had legal counsel. As long as we follow the roadmap, there is nothing against running two projects. I know some people think, oh, well, Basement Dwellers isn't doing too hot. Any second of the day you spend should be put into this project. And I understand that concern, but also I don't think there's enough time in the day to justify having to put 100% of it into BD only. Because yes, we could put a lot of hours into it, but most of it comes back to waiting back to hear from developers. The roadmap hasn't been followed. The roadmap is being followed. What part of the roadmap are we not following up on? If you can clearly give me that, then I'll agree with you. 100% fulfilled. Yes, because the roadmap is a work in progress. We've talked to other project owners about this. When it comes to putting out utility, not every project works at the same speed, and not every developer works at the same speed. Yes, we had a problem with one of the developers, and there have been some rumors like, oh, they're saying the dev rugged them and took all their money and didn't follow through with the utility. That's not the case. We paid him a couple grand up front. He led us to believe it was being developed and it wasn't, and now we're behind on the timeline. That's the case. But we're still following through. Like, we're in conversations and we can show you guys screenshots of all these things. Like, we could make a separate channel, text channel, that you guys could look at the hard evidence and see what we're doing.
Also
People
want to
don't.
address the fact that someone linked us a developer to talk to about basement dweller staking, and we actually did have a conversation with him, which was good. He was really helpful, and the first thing he asked us was actually like, how long have we been without staking and utility after mint? And his initial reaction when we told him 2 months was he laughed at the fact that that's such a short time. And then he then proceeded to explain that a lot of projects go 4-5 months without that. Yeah. So I just want to put that out there as well. And that was someone who's from a reputable project. So
Still seems your proof that dev actually screwed you guys over. We posted screenshots the day we announced it in the chat of the PayPal payment and everything. Drop volley. I don't
I think
believe
the
that's
main
true,
reason,
Milo. I don't believe we did say that we weren't working on other projects. And
but at
Cops
the
and Cartels
same
should do the
time,
same
to
thing.
work to announce that you will be running 2 projects, it jeopardizes both projects. Like you would have to understand that that would also make basement dwellers suffer, which affects everyone here. No, literally everyone here would be affected by that. So
No, we did drop volley. He would get on call and screen share whatever piles of code that he had compiled, but we're not developers. We don't know what to look for in code in smart contracts. For all we know, he could have copy pasted something he found in another contract. We have done a better job of vetting him, yes, and we've admitted to that mistake. But like, you're willing to accept an independent community monitor. What do you mean by that, Swifty? Who cares about the past if the future is all that matters? A lot of people care about the past. I mean, I kind of agree with you. Like, let's look at what we could do moving forward. But there's when you did the floor sweep, you promised for months on end. I could do the floor sweep right now if you want, Zero Fox. The community has voted multiple times, and anyone who's been in this community for a while knows the community's voted multiple times that a floor sweep's not going to do anything. It's just going to be a band-aid. The utility is what matters. Look, just like Plug said, floor sweep is pointless. Floor sweep won't do anything. Like I've heard this 100 times. Like if you
Multiple
think,
people have literally stated to do the floor sweep once utility is in. Like I think
like
a
I'll say it.
a lot of people just want you to throw money down the drain. Like it is not a fix to the problem. Like you realize that, right? It is not a fix to the problem. To do it for the sake of doing it. Like like it blows my mind. It's you want it to be done and you want it to have an effect, but in order for it to have an effect, it has to be something else there, aka utility. Like it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
And you can literally see this in the chat. Like literally everyone's saying, get utility out, then do a floor sweep. Don't waste money on floor sweep. Don't do floor sweep now. So it's just all the people demanding a floor sweep now or a week ago, it still would not have done anything. Like,
yeah,
and you can talk. You
we
can
did
also
do a
talk
few
to
small
multiple
ones, but
projects. Sorry to cut you off, but it's just a very annoying topic. You can talk to multiple projects who do floor sweeps that we spoke to about that, saying not to do it if there's nothing to follow up with. It's a waste of funds. And because there's a set amount of funds in the royalty fund to do those floor sweeps, it would be pointless because you would end up in the same spot where you started with nothing to follow up later. Like it's yeah, that's my piece on it.
right. And we have done a few small floor sweeps, but I'm not gonna push that because it's not sizable amount to matter. Um, but regardless, like if we were gonna rug the project, I don't understand why we would be constantly holding AMAs, show pictures of ourselves, put our names out there, donate 40K to charity, pay all of our developers even after they've already done the work or we didn't need to. Like I can show you screenshots of me paying the artist $50,000 once the project was completely already out and the minting was done. Like I wouldn't be scamming people with all my information out there and continuing to pay people for the work that they've done. Like just a few days ago, I paid, I think, what was it, like 3.5 Ethereum to one of our artists for doing um, the chads. Like I just think the word rug is being used really loosely, and it's giving people a false belief of what's happening, and it's just being used irresponsibly and not honestly.
The way it's being used is, hey, things aren't being followed through as quickly as we would have liked it to be followed through. Therefore, we believe this project is fucking us. That's exactly how it's being used, which is just not the case. Plain and simple.
You're not rugging, you're just slowly dragging everyone along and making sure you don't look bad. Why would I do that though? Like, why wouldn't I just hide my identity, not pay anyone, take 100% of the profit? What's the benefit to me fully exposing myself, fully paying all the workers after the work's been done, giving all the giveaway prizes, giving the charity donations, and exposing myself? Like, because you're a sociopath? No, see that's coming from like, I mean, I get it. You guys invested into community, and with NFTs, it either goes up or goes down, right? Like, you either make money on it or you lose money on it. And sometimes it's easier to blame someone for, that loss and hold somebody accountable rather than yourself. I mean, 95% of NFT projects fall below mint price. You know, a large amount of them get completely rugged by anonymous owners, or even there's some owners who aren't anonymous and completely rug projects. They delete the Discord, they leave, they don't log into their accounts, they don't pay their employees, they don't do their charity donation, just completely gone. You have responsibility to investors still when you're promised before starting a new project when you were already struggling to run this one.
That's actually not the advice that we received about that. But welcome to your opinion on it.
Let's talk solutions. I'm always open to talking solutions. I think a negative community can kill a project they are trying. We need to move forward and stay positive, be active, be good community members. I can't believe it, dude, in our face. I think we need to come out with a roadmap moving forward.
If you're not into this anymore, maybe give it to someone who is. It's not that we're not into it. Like we're literally following through with the roadmap. Like I literally have a conversation with a developer. I announced this the other day that we can 100% trust to do the work. I'm just waiting to hear back on their capabilities. And I have fucking screenshots of that shit too. Like he's literally talking to his team about contract migration because the contract will have to be migrated. And that's it.
Why aren't you using the dev from the cops project? Do you want to touch on that, Schizo?
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, we didn't go to him because again, we don't want to cross two projects with one another, but also that he's not doxed to us. So with our previous experience with non-doxed devs, we didn't want to go to that road yet when we have someone that we're literally talking to right now who we can 100% trust. It just doesn't make sense.
Well, right. We have a developer we're talking to right now for BD that we've had work with us on this project in the past, and we can show you screenshots of the call logs, the messages. This is someone you guys have probably seen around that you can verify. EJ Bar, I mean, I feel like you're being disingenuous with your comments. It just toxic. Like I've gotten death threats. I've gotten people posting me my address. Like, yeah, it's definitely gotten to be a toxic place, and you'll get more. I'm sure I will, Smith. I'm sure I will. Oh, it's been worse than just death threats, man. It's been, I mean,
Low of 36 degrees. Did you know? I have ideas for house.
it's like Alexa's coming after my head now too. Jesus Christ. Um, 36 degrees. It's cold as balls. Yep, and it's raining out here too. So cold and rainy, baby. Just how I like it. I wouldn't take them serious. These pussies live in their mom's basement in real life. I mean, at the end of the day, you never know, man. Like, but at the end of the day, like, it is what it is, man. I'm not worried about that. I'm just kind of bringing up the whole. I'm trying to give you guys the whole picture of things because I want to be, I want to be open about the situation with you guys.
I would follow through on your offer to post dev communication. I mean, yeah, I'll literally show you guys a
Yeah,
photo
let's
now.
do it right now.
Mm. Exactly the same way that I announced in the announcements the other day that we have a developer and they're just looking into their capability and their availability to do the work. And it's someone that we can 100% trust to do the work.
And look, I don't want to dox our artist's full name, but like, I can give you guys logs. Like, people are being paid. I can show you the log of the guy who won the computer giveaway. Like, I wouldn't pay these people if I was planning on screwing anyone over. Like, I wouldn't put myself out there if I was planning on screwing anyone over. Even if you want to call it like a slow drag and not a rug, like even a slow drag, like I wouldn't put my voice out there, my face, my identity. Like, trust me, like I can tell you guys 100% with the fact, like there's no chance that would happen. Like, there's a person that won the PC giveaway. That's about 3K USD roughly, which is what you could equate on the roadmap. And I could give you guys his Discord name so you can message him. You can message our artist as well, Leia. You can confirm it with her. our devs, even the ones who didn't get their split hard programmed into the contract, they've all been paid and bonused. They've been bonused. I paid them more than I promised. So if you guys think I'm trying to be stingy on the project, that's not the problem at all. Like you could ask anyone I've paid or anyone who's want to give away. Yes, Braden, those people will be paid. They were paid in this project, and I can show you proof of that. Our top inviter got paid in this project, and our top activity people, they got all their rewards. Like you can even ask our developer on that one. I mean, listen, I get it. Like people have invested a lot of time to this community. People have invested a lot of money, and they want to make sure that we're following through with the things we said because you want to see the value of what you invested in go up. You want what we promised to be delivered on. Like I 100% understand that, but I don't think the negativity and fueling a fire is going to help us get there. What are you going to do to fix this? I mean the main thing that's wrong with the project is the utility is not out yet. And so it just comes down to finding a good developer who can work on this and implement it. We did not disappear, Chewy. I don't think that's a fair statement. We weren't. I'll tell you this. We weren't as active in this Discord after the project was after the whole public sale and pre-sale and minting phase because we took a break because we were burned out. Like it was near holidays. We were burned out. We just worked on a project 24/7 to get everything
2 months
launched. We were
straight,
stressed.
ignore friends, family, social life, real life, commitments. Yeah, so we took a break after Mint. Absolutely.
After mint is literally the most important time. Right. Listen, I never in no way am saying we handle things perfectly. That's not the argument I'm making. I'm not saying we can't be doing things better, but the one point I'll hold and I'll take to the grave with me is that we're not rugging this project. And we're not putting work back into the project. That's the one thing I will argue. I'm not saying we were perfect project owners. I'm not saying we were working as hard as we could have and grinding as hard as we could have. But to say it's a rug is completely inaccurate. I was in Evolved Apes. This isn't a rug. Like, yeah, I think anyone who's been in a proper rug knows, like, with everything we've done and what we're still doing, like, this is in no way a rug. Like, and I'm sorry for the people who think it is, and the people who feel like we've betrayed you or we don't care about the project. The thing is with the stuff we want to implement, it's pretty specific, and there aren't many people with the skills to do it who are also docs and have their identity there. And we can't have a repeat of what happened last time, where we had a dev working on it for what we thought were several weeks, and then it turns out that they were nowhere. So what we're going to need to do this time is we're going to need to have someone we trust to audit the developer we hire to make sure he's actually doing work, even if the person can't fully understand the scope of the work he's doing. Just somebody to look over the contract and the code to make sure stuff is actually going through. Like we can't just hire a dev again. We need to hire a dev and an auditor to look after the dev, someone we trust who can make sure he's actually doing the work. Because we can't look at a line code ourselves and be able to decipher, oh yeah, this guy's making progress. He's almost done with the tokenomics. He's almost done with the staking. Even if somebody tells us this is the case, which our last dev did, it ended up being he was showing us a bunch of code that we couldn't tell was, fluff, bullshit. The devs for the new project were working on a percentage basis. And also we have a different development infrastructure on the new project. As well as we wanted to keep cops and cartels separate from the main project. Plus those devs we have on cops and cartels aren't doxed. Like we don't
Which is a
100%.
problem when you're investing, upfront payments for things. And we have someone we're talking to that we can 100% trust that we're waiting for. So like, it just doesn't make sense.
I think anyone that splits any more negativity should get boot, clean the Discord, positive vibes, and strong community help project big time. I kind of agree, but also like if you kick people for spreading misinformation or FUD, like people think you're being tyrants and like trying to silence the people who are exposing you, and it could lead to putting out a bad look for, I guess, the project owners. But I kind of agree. Like, I think like constructive criticism is good and it helps us, but just pure negativity and lies is a different story. Well, I mean, that's not entirely the case, Zero Fox. Like, we've talked to other projects they've worked on in the past, and their work has, from what I've gathered, been good. And we've talked to them on voice calls, and they seem like really honest, good people. So I have a good belief that they're legitimate, like 95%, but I wouldn't wager that 5% risk of them not being legit on basement dwellers. Yeah, I completely agree. Like, it's your guys' money and you're down your investment, so you have every right to ask questions, be skeptical, and I encourage you to do so. I just don't want any false like straight negativity of FUD, rug pull, scam. Like, I just don't want to hear that because that's not the case at all. If you want to say I ran the project poorly or we need to speed the timeline up or any other legitimate like criticisms, like that's 100% open. Like, go for it, but just no more bullshit like rug pull like scam accusations. How many devs are we talking to? Uh, I don't know, Skid. So what do you think? Like 4, 5?
Yeah, we're mainly talking to the one at the moment, which is the screenshot I sent you before, because he's out of everyone. We've worked with him before, and we can 100% trust him. Like I said, we're waiting to hear back from him if he can actually implement a contract migration.
Someone's saying show it now. Did you show them the screenshot of that?
Yeah, so I literally sent the screenshot of that message. Where is it?
Okay. I mean, there's one dev we
It's
were
right here.
talking to, but I think he wanted like 100 Ethereum to integrate the tokenomics, which, I mean, again, I'm fine investing in a good developer, but also we're going to consider like if people are trying to take advantage of the situation and overprice themselves.
The deadline, if you don't hear back from him, well, I just asked him this morning, which was like 6 hours ago that I asked him. And I just said, hey, would be great to announce that we have someone working on this. Can we talk to lock something in over today? So, problem is he lives in a different country, so we have time zones that we're working as well.
I think Schizo just posted one, and yeah, I could find another few conversations we've had with devs, and I could copy and paste it, an image of it into the chat. But I have my DMs turned on for everyone. Like anyone could message me right now at this moment. Because I don't block DMs. Even like mass DMers message me. You can see my DMs. Like it's just like a flood of them, so I have to scroll down and find it. You're only concerned about being called a rug because you want your next payday on cops and cartels? No, dude. No. If that were the case, I wouldn't have put any of my information out there on this project. And I wouldn't have paid people and
Yeah, I think a lot of
paid
people
charities.
miss that. I think a lot of people really don't understand. Like, legitimately, like, take a second, like, unplug your keyboard and really think about this. If our intention was to ever rug a project, why would we follow through with the roadmap? Why would we put our information out there? Why would we continue to be here? Why would we have our social medias up? Why would we continue to pay out prizes, run events, and do things? It just doesn't make sense. Why would we follow through with everything, but we're just gonna leave out this one piece? It just, like, seriously, like, unplug your keyboard and legitimately think about that before typing. It's stupid. It's dumb. At
Can I
that
fix
point,
the
it's
bots in the
grasping at
Discord?
straws. Yes, we did fix the bots. We removed all the. It's called a slow rug, yeah, but like at the same time, like, what is the purpose of a slow rug? It's still a rug in the end. Like, it's still gonna have the same outcome in the end. So slow or fast, I feel like slow is the worst the worst option to go down. Like, if you were to slow rug a project as opposed to fast rug it, why go slow? It just doesn't make it doesn't make sense. Again, it doesn't make sense. Why rugged at all? Exactly. Why rugged at all, and why follow through with 60% of the project, but then say, we're not going to do the other part. And 60% you get royalties. Yeah, but as you can see, the royalties haven't moved. The royalties haven't moved, so we're not getting royalties. And the royalties, as we stated in our website, is used to buy the floor and continue to expand the project moving forward. So we don't get royalties. The royalty fund is literally there to buy the floor sweep, and to move the project forward. So
I mean, I'm open to hearing like the thing is with utility, like all we can do is like look for developers, interview them, talk to them, and try to make a decision on if they're qualified, if they're legitimate, are they doxed. Like I mean, I'm open to suggestions of where you guys think our time is best spent on basement dwellers. Would you be willing to hand over the project? Um, I don't think we would be because we put all of our time and effort into building this from the ground up and came up with the concept, the idea, and built the community from scratch. Like invested all of our money, took all the risk. Like if I didn't care about the project, yes, I would hand it over. Like in a heartbeat, just rid myself of the responsibility. But I know some of you guys don't really believe it, but I know you will once you see things play out. But I don't think anyone would care about having a successful community and project as much as I do. I understand that pab tag, but all I can say to that is I think time will regain trust and seeing things like I think once you guys see the interface implemented into the website and you could put your dweller up for staking, it'll be a different story and it'll be a different conversation. Like I don't think there's ever been a legitimate 1 month gap where I haven't communicated, Paulo. Crop volley, that's such a bullshit narrative to try to paint, dude. Like even before that project started, I've been working on this project after the minting. I'm down as fuck here, but I'm not being an asshole. I appreciate that. Anyone who's not being an asshole, I appreciate you. Tell us how we're going to trust you again. I think at this point there's nothing we could say to make you trust us. I think at this point all we can do is like take action and implement things that we said we were going to. And even when we attempted to do that, sure things went south and not everything came through, but I think once you guys see the interface, you're able to stake your dwellers, like these final because everything else on the roadmap we followed up on. Like I don't want to be a broken record and be like, oh, we paid the PC winners, we donated to the charity, like we have proof of all those things, we paid the workers. Like I don't want to be a broken record and keep bringing that up, but like we followed through with everything on the roadmap except the staking hasn't went through yet and the questing. And those two things are complex and not an easy dev job. And the dev we did hire wasn't able to follow through with the creation of that. So now we just need a competent docs dev that we can trust through. Like that's all it is. And I mean, maybe we need to make a channel where we post screenshots of things you guys can see. Like we posted a couple in this chat, but if we had a dedicated channel, people could reference like to see the conversations we're having, to see what we're doing. Maybe that would help. I mean, listen, I'll be honest. Like I'm not working today on a solution. I'm not. I'm not messaging 5,000 people a day. Like I'm a human. I'm not perfect. Like I could be working harder. Like maybe that's fault of my own. But I am working on it every day. I'm putting a lot of effort into it, and I do care about the success of the project. This is like your girlfriend cheating on you 7 times and telling you to stay with her and trust her. What? Jesus Christ. We are doing giveaways, Kixologist. Oh, you, not Kratos. I mean, what's wrong with like, and this is something we should have done better at the start. Like, what's wrong with delegating certain tasks to people in the community or people you can trust to do the job? I think that's something you should get faulted for. No, I'm not saying that. Like, what can be done while we were waiting to lock up Dev? Um, I mean, I think the most important thing outside of the development of the utility is keeping morale high in this Discord and like bringing faith back into the project. We're in communication with Kratos. We talk to him every day. I mean, more giveaways for the active chatters who are being positive is a good way to start. Like, I mean, I think giving back, like, while the development is being done, is a good place to start. Okay, so what are some of your thoughts on these questions?
Yeah, I'm just reading through it. I mean, a lot of the questions are around trust, and like, it's the exact response that you've given. Like, what else can we say apart from, actually delivering on the roadmap, which we are doing, right? Like, that's it. It's just it's a waiting game. It's a waiting game. Unfortunately, like, the reality of it is a waiting game to implement the roadmap, and it's just plain and simple like that. There's nothing more we can do. We're not developers. We can't implement a staking feature. We can't write code. So it's not like we can do it ourselves. So whilst someone else is working on it, then what? We have 24 hours in a day. So why do we say that we're only working on one project? Again, because it affects the success of both projects. Like, it hurts both communities to do that. It's just, not focusing your attention on the project also hurts the project. Again, at the same time, we had someone working on the utility, aka the roadmap that we promised. There's nothing outside of that for us to do. We don't have involvement in developing that. That's contracted work. So you want me to sit here behind my computer 24 hours a day sitting in the Discord? Like, at the end of the day, like, we had people working on it, and we are continuing to find people to work on it.
Richo, it's not. We are 100% doing our best to follow through on the last one or two things on the roadmap that haven't been completed, even though the rest of it has been followed through with. I think here's what I think. I think even if we follow through in the roadmap and we make a real effort to bring the project up, which is what we're doing, my question is, I'm worried personally that I don't think the onslaught will stop. I think if people are down on their investment, it doesn't stop. I think until the price of the project exceeds the mint price, people aren't going to be happy. Because with NFTs, you invest a certain amount of money, and I've lost tons and tons and tons of money in NFTs. I think, and I've seen the discords. I've seen how the discords get. Even when everything is implemented 100%, and people are still down on their investment, there are still the same accusations. Rug pull. What more are you doing for the project? Why is my investment still down? Like, I've been in a lot of projects where everything is followed out on, and they're still coming after the people who run the project. So, I mean, that's not to say like there's any reason not to follow through 100% with everything, but I'm just giving you the counterpoint. I'm assuming this will always continue until our mint our floor price is like 0.3 ETH or something, or 0.2 ETH or something. I hope I'm wrong. Like, I hope once everything is put through, and you know hopefully we can get the floor that high. Like, hopefully some of the negativity stops. You can turn this around with daily communications and where you are with the devs. Do you think that would actually turn this around? Like, not turning this around. Sorry. Like, I don't think that would turn this around. I think people actually need to see. People either want to like 5x their investment. I think that's the biggest thing, or there's still a problem. Like, what more can you be doing to 5x my investment is what it comes down to. I think it's different for every person. I think some people, once they see everything followed through with, even if their initial mint investment is down, they'll be okay and they'll just move forward. But I think other people, if they're not up on their investment, they'll be in here every day and be saying, "Why didn't I make money on this NFT? Why don't you throw an extra 500,000 into marketing so I can get a profit off my investment?" So I think there's a couple groups of people. Some people are in that group. People mad they couldn't make a quick flip. Some people are mad they couldn't make a quick flip. Some people feel betrayed. Some people feel some people are worried that we're not following through with what we said we will, and I get those concerns. I 100% understand those concerns. Of course, you have to take some responsibility and don't blame holders like you did. Not fucking despairing for a month and starting to grudge. I do take accountability, Pablo. I think I definitely do take accountability. But I will also say it's not a one-sided road. I think there's some imperfections everywhere with the whole situation. We want to focus on the solution and actions, clear see the problems. Is any you two are going to do, or we can do other than to be patient as we wait for the devs? Um,
Paid a response where the DAO members have been mentioning for months. Yeah, I don't think we never actually stated that we were going to have a DAO. I think it was suggested to us, but we never actually stated that we were actually establishing a DAO. So anyone who stated that we were or that we have, then that's false because that we never said that.
Thanks, guys. Going to bed. Good things to come. Keep in touch, please. All right, Nifty. Have a good sleep, man. All of the mods over here put hard time and help the community grow immensely. If you thought the Dweller and Cartel communities would be upset you're working on 2 projects, do you think it was a responsible decision to do it anyway? I think. I mean, that's a fair question. I'm trying to think of. It may not have been the most responsible or best decision. You know, I'll be completely honest. BD isn't doing the best, obviously, on the secondary market with its floor price. So, of course, with any second project, the first community will be upset because, you know, well, they'll think like, okay, well, this project isn't doing so hot, so why isn't more time being invested here? And now you're putting time into the secondary project. And I think that's a fair criticism. Yeah, and maybe it wasn't the best choice to run 2 projects. I don't think it takes any time away from what we're doing in B and D, because a lot of the work we're doing in B and D and a lot of what's going on with cops and cartels is automated. So I honestly don't think it's taking away anything from basement dwellers. I can tell you that for a fact. So I don't think it's I think it's more so the response in the community that I'm worried about, more so than how our time is impacting the project. If you're worried about the community, it would be nice to listen to us. We are worried about the community bug, and if we weren't, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah, main priority right now is to follow through with the roadmap and to finish off the 85% and the 100% part of the roadmap for completion. That's our goal and that's our focus.
Can you repeat that, just so like everyone has a clear thought of where you're at? It's good. So
Yeah, saying I think our primary focus now, and based on the advice we've received as well, is to follow through with the roadmap, the 85% roadmap, or 85% goal, and the 100% goal of the roadmap to complete what we said we were going to do with the project. And that's our focus.
yeah, we're not involved as far in yard fashion needs to cast. The only other project we're involved with is CNC, and even CNC doesn't take up much of our time. It's not a time thing that's a problem with BD. It's a difficulty thing. It's a difficulty thing in finding someone you could trust who has the skill set to build out a very specific utility in a very new space, and making sure they actually follow through and complete everything and have the time to do it, and it's somebody you could trust. And then on top of that, we need an auditor that we can trust to look after that person, because with the last dev we had building out the utility, we didn't have him audited. We just took his word for it. And of course, we're not monkeys. Like, we had him share his screen, show us the code, just to like have something to look at. But obviously, we didn't do enough due diligence on making sure, you know, the contracts that we needed were actually being completed, because it turned out he didn't have anything to deliver to us when the day came.
Prince from Demon said BD would fit well with Lilith Swap. That's actually the dev I was talking about before that laughed at us when he realized we'd only been waiting 2 months for utility, and then proceeded to say that a lot of projects take way longer than that. I forgot his name, so it's good you brought him up. But he was really helpful. He is someone that we are considering, but like I said, we have someone that we're talking to that we can 100% trust to do the work. I'm just waiting to hear back from him before we go to a second or third option. Why can cops and cartels have a DAO and we cannot? I think at the end of the day, we never said we were going to have a DAO in Basement Dwellers. I think a lot of people are confused as to what we said we would deliver on this project. Never once did we state that we would have a DAO.
I look forward to the future utility and excited for the new Discord. I think those of us that stick around will make it. Thank you, 49er. I appreciate your faith in us, man. It won't go unfounded. Trust accounts for what exactly, Big Butt Man? I don't want anyone to think I'm like skipping over or intentionally ignoring any questions being asked because I want to confront everything here and not leave any stone unturned. Shows the expenses for everything you spent on ETH and how much is left. I mean, I could look through all my transactions, and then Schizo would have to look through all his transactions because we divvied up costs, and then look through multiple MetaMasks, Coinbase accounts, Binance accounts, and tally it up. But I could tell you like now we've probably only spent a few hundred grand like total. That's not counting like what we gave the developer in his cut, which he made about 100K himself just from the smart contract. But yeah,
It-
I'm not making it. I'm not claiming we spent like $1 million developing BD. Like you're not going to hear me try to bullshit anyone and like paint that narrative. And in our roadmap, we never stated like there was going to be 50% of the funds invested back into the project.
Yeah, there was no specific stated of how much was being reinvested. And to answer the question, do we still have community funds? Yes, the royalty fund is all still there waiting to sweep the floor at the right time.
I mean, in our website, in our roadmap, it states 3% of royalties will be reinvested back into a floor sweep. There were no additional funds ever claimed or stated. I know there's an expectation for it in the community, but that was never anything promised or stated or put anywhere.
New dev going to be paid from royalties fund or original. The roadmap, the original mint funds was to follow through with the roadmap. So the dev will be paid from the original because the royalty fund is there for events and floor sweeps.
Is the new dev going to be paid from royalty funds or original mint funds? Just out of pocket, man. Original mint funds were there wasn't any plan for original mint funds to be put back into like a community wallet. Like when we first started this project, we didn't even know about that concept. Like I didn't even know what a DAO was or DAO was until a few weeks ago. Uh, It's arbitrary, Firefly. There was no like, if you want to do the math of 3% on the royalties in the secondary market, you have a number there, but whatever we pay out of pocket, like that's an arbitrary number that was never decided upon. Again, when we created this project, we were complete novices in the space.
To answer the question about how do you ensure, I guess both communities, um, that they aren't a rug. I mean, there's no way more than we can assure anyone other than following through, right? And then seeing the previous stuff that we've followed through on. Like that's literally it. I think we answered this question a couple of times, but why didn't you tell either project about the others? I think it's just it goes back to the fact that it just hurts both projects. You know, people, as we've realized, people like to come up with these tinfoil hat conspiracy theories, and then spread FUD, spread drama, make problems, and it ends up hurting both communities. So there's just no point. Getting exposed doesn't hurt more. I don't think so. I think it's the same thing. It has the same effect. Has the same effect either way.
I mean, yeah, like obviously we're going to be held to a different standard and level of accountability that we're not really used to or accustomed to. I mean, we never claim to be professionals or really experienced in this space coming into it. But, you know, that doesn't mean we're not looking to do our best to follow through with what we promised you guys. Like we have followed through on every other part of the roadmap. The only thing we haven't been able to get down yet is the implementation of a complex utility item in our project that we need a solid dev for. When you said you guys are working every day on this project, does that mean you're hiring people to do the work for you? Why didn't you have a separate dev audit the work of those fake devs? I mean, that's the main point I brought up. When we hired the dev to build out the utility for BD, we probably should have had someone audit to make sure everything he was doing was legitimate. The problem is we didn't have a dev who understood the scope of the project we needed. Otherwise, we would have just hired him to do it instead of hired him to audit it. So it's hard to hire someone to audit something that they don't know how to build out themselves. So, and also with that comes trust, doxing, and agreeable terms. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. Plus, it's a hot space. Like people who can develop tokenomics and the utility that we want to follow through with. There's a lot of demand for them right now. It's not like there's a handful of people or like dozens of people we can pick from who are openly available to doing it. I'll go sweep the floor for BD. If I see utility implemented, I'll sweep the floor as well. I think the most important part of this project right now is, well, I mean, now it's kind of shifted. Now it's community morale and utility, and I think those things are kind of tied together. Why does everyone think every project is going to be base C? I don't know. How many dwellers do you both personally own? I've given a lot out the past few months, but I've had over 50, and most of them I bought. I think the most I allocated to myself was probably 5 4 or 5 is the allocation that we had for ourselves, but I bought over
It was
50.
yeah.
How much was it?
I was gonna say it was two. It was two
Yeah,
that we
we
allocated.
we allocated 2 for ourselves, and I bought probably 50 or 60 and gave most of them out to people in the community, but fuck, I don't know, guys. Your mod had to come to the community to pay out dollars owed. Yeah, I was onto that whole situation, and we've taken care of him since DJ Bar. But yeah, Supreme, Dweller, and no, sorry, AK Supreme and Kratos were both badasses this whole time and keeping things going. We did pay AK Supreme. We've paid him multiple times, Slenderman. There was one point we paid him a little bit late, but yeah, that's, you know. And by the way, his last project he worked on didn't pay him anything, and they had agreed to pay him like everyone's been paid and bonused in this project, like generously, from giveaways to people who helped work on it to everything. Like, because it needed to be sent to the wallet at a certain date and time, and the wallet that I had on my MetaMask was on my MacBook, which I couldn't get into at the time. But yeah, he was recomped for all of that and paid a bonus. So I don't know. It's like it feels like people are picking at straws and like ignoring any positivity and only paying attention to negativity. Like, you two understand this is the internet, everything can be chased back, nothing can hide. Of course. Of course, Firefly. Can focus on that after Firefly. Right now I'm focused on BD. One thing at a time. I'm told the reason you can't find a dev for staking is because you're continually trying to undercut devs on their price. Probably why you got scammed by the last staking dev. It's not true. Josh got paid over 6 figures for developing BD when it was already guaranteed to sell out. And we had to hire 2 more devs to help him build out a simple contract. And the guy we hired to audit him, we also had to pay him a considerable amount just to help Josh get the things in the contract right. Like we hired 3 devs for the BD launch when it's a 1 dev job. And when we hired him, the project was already guaranteed to sell out. So he got a very good rate. Normally when devs negotiate rates on projects, it's with the uncertainty of if it's going to sell out, how much it's going to sell, so then you take a certain percentage. We were already at the point where it was a guaranteed sellout, and he already had a 6-figure guaranteed payout when he was brought on as a dev. So I don't know where you're getting that undercut information from. There was one dev who wanted 100 ETH to build out staking, but that's I don't even think at that point it's undercutting. Like that's completely miles off from any other quote we've gotten for the space. And another dev we paid to do the front end side of things and the mint button integration. You can even ask him. I bonused him twice the amount I agreed to pay him. So thinking I'm undercutting anyone is complete. Just it's ridiculous. But yeah, if you want to say like we should have done more due diligence to speed things up on the utility side and had the developer we had audited for the staking, yes, I agree with you on that. I mean, we can have AK Supreme clear this up when he wakes up. I could message him now, and tell him to clear things up on that side. Because this isn't a CNC AMA. This is about basement builders broke stoked. Yeah, plug. It was a late payment. That's all it was. Like he's been paid and taken care of. It was a couple days late. That's all it was. Bad look late. Yeah, I guess so. Appreciate the candid responses. Thank you, Joey. Ah, man.
BD moving to IMX or some layer 2, that's something we're going to have to ask the developer who we hire, because again, we're not developers, so I can't give you a straight answer on that. But there will
Okay.
have to be some form of contract migration from what we've been told. Because in order to level up the dwellers, the metadata has to be stored on the actual contract itself. Guessing you can step up daily communication with the holders. I feel like we've been doing a good job with our communication recently. I mean, our announcements. I mean, I've been in the Discord. Nomad's been in the Discord. We put out daily, close to daily announcements. We just released weekly giveaways as well. I feel like we've definitely gotten better at daily communication.
Hey, strong guys jumping out for now. All right, Sam. Thanks for hopping in, dude.
Apart from telling everyone you have another project. Yeah, I mean, look,
Put up with the consistency, it will be your friend.
Josh knew this beforehand. Josh didn't know that beforehand. That's the reason. Josh did not know that beforehand. Which is why Josh didn't develop our tokenomics or staking feature, because he didn't feel comfortable with developing it, and he also had another project, so he didn't know that beforehand.
Josh honestly didn't know too much. Apparently, he didn't know too much about how the contract needed to be created to account for future utility that we had planned, and so now we have to find a workaround for that. But yeah, that's kind of the position we're in right now. No, Josh did not tell us that. Again, we needed to hire 2 additional developers to help Josh get the contract done. And that's why our public launch was delayed, our pre-sale was delayed. Like he had to do 2 wedding photographies he didn't tell us about while he was developing the contract, but you know, he was gone out without reception for like a couple days while a couple days away from the basement dollar launch. We definitely had a lot of road bumps with him, but yeah. I think we probably had to spend an extra 90K in development fees just to have Josh assisted to finish the contract. But yeah, I did wish he brought up the things that need to be different for us to build out the utility we want for our project, because now there's some complications that we didn't account for beforehand. And I know people don't want to hear the excuse of I'm not a developer, so I don't have that level of knowledge, and it's my first project, so I'm not aware of everything that goes into smart contracts and Web3 and uh, what's the other one? Web3 and Solidity. Yeah.
Have you shortlisted any devs? Yeah, we brought this up before. We have one that we're talking to that we've worked with previously, so we know 100% we can trust him. But he just needs to talk to his team about their capability in terms of contract migration. Which I followed up with him about 7 hours ago, asking if we could lock something in. So I was planning not to announce that in case it falls through, but fingers crossed that it does go through, because that would be best case scenario for us to be able to work with him. So
I would gladly be willing to help build the community back from its bones. I want to see it succeed. Yeah, plug. Thank you, dude. Seriously.
just to touch on that, no one knew that the utility wouldn't be available with how the contract was written. That was, I guess, the whole point of it. Again, we're not developers, so we have zero clue how contracts work, and no one on our development team advised us that it would have to be written that certain way. So that's just the situation we're in right now.
I think, like, looking back, like, it's a hell of a lot better if you're running a project to just be a developer, because most NFT projects owners are actually developers, whereas
Or artists.
yeah, or artists, whereas Schizo and I are neither. But yeah, and I hate trying to like hold that angle or play that card, because it's not my intention. but I think it's important for context for you guys that we're not developers. We don't understand code. Like you can ask the developers who worked on our project. We know absolutely zero about it. So when people say like, "Oh, why didn't you know he wasn't like? Why didn't you know he didn't have like a legitimate contract written up and you know it wasn't what you expected?" Like, yeah, we're not perfect. We didn't get it audited. Like we made mistakes, 100%. As for communication, I think that's a big concern and like a big and even a somewhat valid criticism. Um, and we'll pick that up. Like we'll try to be better with that. Yeah, how about a buyback? I don't think that's on the table because if we buy back one person's dollars, we need to buy back everyone's dollars. I mean, listen, I wish, the NFT projects that I bought, the project owners would buy back their NFT from me because everything I've invested in has went below the mid price.
To understand contracts, I still think it's wise to make a new project with more complicated contract than just staking. I mean, again, that's why we hire developers who know what they're doing to do this for us. And we trust that, they know what they're doing at the end of the day.
I think that's kind of like saying if you're not a developer, you cannot create an NFT project. Where do you guys look for devs? I mean, the biggest place is probably the crypto devs Discord. I'm not sure exactly where we found Josh. I think
Crypto
Schizo
devs.
found him from it.
Crypto
Oh, crypto
devs.
devs. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, you guys know just as well as we do the utility we need done in BD. We're talking to a few devs and we're kind of near final steps with one of them that we might follow through with, but we haven't heard a 100% yes or no from him yet. So, look, if you guys know a dev who can implement everything we need and you 100% trust them to follow through with it, and you're willing to put your reputation on the line for them and take responsibility for them, I'm 100% open to taking suggestions for the devs you guys have.
I mean, we already have been in contact with 3 people that was suggested by the community too.
Right, but I'm open to talking to more because
Yeah.
it feels like you have to talk to 15 people to get one good person. Yeah, I mean that YouTube video also stated that we didn't donate any of the money we made to charity, and we also didn't pay out the prize money. So a lot of misinformation in that YouTube video. And when I confronted the person who made the video, showing him proof, he refused to take out any of the misinformation in the video and kind of gave me a very like egotistical, smug response. So I mean, that's kind of the nature of YouTube videos. I would say definitely don't believe everything you see in them. And again, I posted screenshots of the donation. I have physical mail. Like St. Jude's has actually called me on my phone for that donation, but according to his YouTube video, where a rug pull, they didn't do anything and followed through on nothing. I'm sitting here quiet, got all 3 of my kids to bed, trying to enjoy what's left of my Sunday night. This AMA is depressing as fuck. At Schizo and at No Man's, I think a lot of accusations and insults hurled your way are off base, are way off base. However, some concerns raised are fair. I'm going to go with the unpopular opinion and keep rallying for you guys. And BD, please do not let us down and fall through the rest of the roadmap. I am far from freedom. To me, one ETH is a lot. BD was my introduction to NFTs. As I had mentioned in the previous AMA, in hindsight, I should have understood the space risks better before aping in, and that is on me alone. Again, please just do right by this community and still have some of us who believe in you guys and want this project to succeed. Anyways, just trying to bring some positivity to the table. Don't want to draw this out too long. Happy holidays, fellas. Hope you all have a nice Christmas. That's John. Thank you so much for those nice words, man. And you know, don't worry, like we're not going anywhere. We're following through with these things. I can't 100% guarantee you that when we follow through and through all our actions that BD will go to like a 1 ETH mint price or a one ETH like OpenSea price. That's something I can't promise you, but I can promise you we're gonna do everything we can to follow through with everything, which we have been doing, but it just comes down to getting a legitimate dev. Be honest, this will be dark history or record for you two if you still want to survive in the NFT world. Why don't you really let go and pass everything out and you two can start a new life? What does that mean? I'm in a very similar position to you. I grew need keeping positive and help prepare what's left. I think DAO wasn't really a thing when we started BD Supreme. DAO wasn't really a thing when we started BD, or not to our knowledge at least. And it was nowhere in our roadmap, and it wasn't really on our radar at the time.
It is a thing now. Why not do it? I think because it comes back to the fact that we never intended basement dwellers to be a DAO. There's a lot of new things that are things now. So does that mean we should implement every single one of them to this project? That was never really the direction that we were taking basement dwellers. So our direction was always to have a staking feature and a questing feature and then rewarding giveaways for higher level dwellers. That was what we set out to do.
So I'll say this: my DMs have always been open since the start of this project, and they always will remain open. I know some people don't like posting in the community suggestions channel. If you guys have suggestions about how to move forward and keep our eyes on how we can rebuild from here, and you want to make sure it gets heard, just shoot me a message, shoot Schizo a message, like talk to us. Like I've never ignored anyone. I've never turned my DMs off. Like I've never isolated myself away from you guys. Like can I give definitive answers right now without thinking about it more? No, I can't. Not for big decisions. But, you know, message me, talk to me. Like I know some of you guys might hate me or think, you know, we rugged you guys or whatever. Or I don't think anyone at this point thinks we really rugged them. I think some people think we're kind of dragging this project out and letting it die slowly. But I mean, for those of you guys who believe me or believe in the project and want to move forward, like shoot us a message. Like we're not sitting on this AMA for 2 hours to you know run away. We're here to talk. We're disappointed, boss. I know. I'm in the same boat as you, broken stoked. Hey guys, nice to know the team better. So obviously the project has a giant hole in the operations side of things, aka the devs. Not completely sold on marketing either, but both those positions can be hired. I think there's just some team building things happening right now. What would you say your individual strengths are in the project, and what's your action plan for the next couple of weeks? Where do you think you'll be spending your time? What's your goal for the project? I just like your vision. Why the second project with capital? Both projects are leaking for Team next year. I mean, yeah, I think so. From my side of things, like, um, in terms of my strengths, I think my biggest strength was just community building, um, marketing from inside Discord, not necessarily like YouTube or Twitter, but from inside Discord and growing the Discord, community building and marketing inside the Discord. Um, and then sort of concept related things like with traits and creativity. And then schizo, I mean, what would you say your strength was?
I would say those are
BD.
the exact same strengths as ours. Yeah, I feel like we shared similar strengths in that regard.
Yeah, we did
I
share
mean,
similar strengths.
artists, we're not artists, we're not developers.
Yeah, we're not artists, we're not developers, we're community builders. What's your end goal for the project? I mean, it's hard to say because nobody knows where NFTs are going and where they're going to end up. So I don't want to give you a bullshit answer like I'm planning on working on this project until I'm 57 and like making it the biggest thing in the world because I'm not sure what the end goal is. Obviously, I would like to raise the floor and have it be a successful project and get more eyes on it and you know revive the community and make everyone happy. But I don't know if that's necessarily like a super long term thing. I'm hoping that'll happen sooner rather than later. But I mean, that's about as far out as I see for the horizon of the project. And yeah, I'm 100 and yeah, next level, Brando. Like I'm 100% open to hiring to help with the things we need help with. And I think the biggest thing right now is the utility of it. But before that, we need to before like really putting marketing into place, I think we need to rebuild the morale of the community and have the utility out. Yeah, I mean NFT Watchdogs videos about 60 to 70% false information, and he refuses to update the information in that video to reflect accurately on his reporting. So I don't think he really cares about doing right by people. He'll just kind of put whatever's out there and you know get a pat on the back for it. So how are we moving forward? Moving forward, how are we going to make PD happy? Which in turn instills some trust back in CC. I mean, just getting. I think the biggest part of the unhappiness with BD comes from not having the utility they wanted out. So we just have to find a way to put that under express delivery and make it happen as fast as we can, I guess. I mean, to be fair, he only has 800 followers. He does talk some dumb shit. Yeah, I mean, he didn't even do 5 seconds of research to look at our Twitter and see the donation we made to St. Jude's. Like that's a pretty big, like that's a pretty big claim to make against someone doing charity fraud. Like, I mean, at this point, I think taking it like at this point, I don't think like how like everything we say matters so much. I think it's what actions we take going forward and continue to take going forward to kind of put restore faith back in BD. My goal is like in the near future to have it where like we can bring on the developer we're working with on one of the AMAs with us. Like have you guys talk to them and ask questions.
I mean, I'm hoping to have a response from the guy we're talking to tonight, to be honest. I mean, I did ask this morning if we could lock something in today, but it's like
Yeah,
2 a.m. over his time zone. So, I mean, I had to stay up to like 1 a.m. the other night to call him about stuff. So, I'm hoping to have something locked in. You know, it's been about 3 days with him discussing with his team if they can do, contract migration that needs to happen. And then from there, it's just, finalizing things up. And I'm really hoping to lock someone in, do it, you know.
Lick yes. 100% yes, Lick. You can, you could record that, clip it, save it in the hard drive, post it to YouTube. It's just basement dwellers and cops and cartels. 100%.
Skits and Nomads confirmed founders of CNC, and we're going to try and launch until they got exposed. So the first part of that is correct. The reason why there was a delay in launching was actually because our developer said we needed to push it back. So actually has nothing to do with being exposed or not. It's just because our developer told us to push it back.
I mean, I think it's at a point now where, we've been on here for 2 hours. It hasn't been very productive, but I think some people got some what's the word? Some weight off their shoulders. They got to unleash some anger that they had. It's partly been productive. Some people have been reassured, others not. But that's how things are. You can't make everyone happy all the time. And I
I
think
think for the people who are still lacking trust, I think the only way to get that is just to have someone start implementing this stuff. So, I mean, we could sit here for the next 6-7 hours saying the exact same thing over and over, and it does nothing, you know. It's literally just going to be someone implementing the roadmap, which, we're working on, and we showed you guys we're working on that. So that's where it's really at. Really just a matter of getting someone to do the work.
okay, guys. Well, let's wrap it up there. Appreciate you guys who were keeping positive. Those of you guys who are still concerned or frustrated, I understand. But I think when things pull through and you see we never really left, things might pick up and BD again. Some people will leave forever. Some people will stay aboard, and I think we'll be pleasantly surprised. But at this point, all we can do is take action and show you guys instead of telling you guys. So that's what we're gonna get to doing. No, I think we've numbed it down to it a bit, Cree. Like we'll be around, man. Don't worry. All we can do to the criticism is address it and move forward. Same for the hate. Address it, move forward. If there's nothing constructive in it, probably just ignore it. And then get to taking action. All right, guys. Thanks for hopping on. For anyone who stayed for the whole 2 hours, you guys are champions. Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye.